Tonight, we turn our attention to guns on school campuses. The Tennessee State Senate has passed a bill allowing K through 12 teachers to carry concealed handguns. We're talking about the teachers now, not the kids. It comes a year after a deadly school shooting in Nashville that killed 3 children and 3 adults tragically. We all remember that. The bill does not require teachers to be armed, but it does require a minimum of 40 hours of gun training for staff who plan to carry. Joining us to talk about it, educator Arnetta Murray and Waller County Constable Precinct 3 Herschel Smith. Glad to have you here on The Factor. So as an educator, Arnetta, when you hear the state of Tennessee saying, look, that's an option. If you get the training, 40 hours, you can take a gun into the classroom, but it's designed to protect your children. Your thoughts on this?
Of course, I do not want to do that. First of all, I'm there to educate the kids, not to be swapped. So unfortunately, I don't think that we should, or Tennessee, let me say that, shouldn't have done that, because you're going to open up Pandora box. So no, I don't want to do that. We shouldn't, that shouldn't be an option in school.
For those who say sometimes law enforcement can't get there in time, and if a teacher is adequately trained and knows what he or she is doing, then that could save lives on that campus until law enforcement arrives.
I think that what they're trying to do, I understand about active shooter, but let's be clear, it's not an everyday occurrence. And 40 hours is just not enough for a teacher to get the training they need to, as you say, protect. Again, let's get the police involved, let's get the campus police involved, and let them do their job on a daily basis, making sure that we're protected. Let teachers teach, and that's just my we don't want to do that to the kids. We don't want to do that to the teachers, because a teacher could just get mad for a kid cutting up and bam. No, don't do that.
You're not killing kids, are you?
Well,
misbehaving.
You're laughing, but it can turn into that. Seriously, and we don't want that.
And I believe you, because you don't know people's anger level sometimes.
Absolutely.
They see red and they can't control it.
Absolutely.
Constable, your thoughts on this, putting guns in the classroom with teachers who are properly trained, or at least 40 hours?
I have mixed feelings about it, you know what I'm saying? The training to 40 hours could be enough, it could not be enough, you know, it all depends. But if, you know, with police already in the schools as it is, then you give the teachers the opportunity to bring their gun to school. So if let's say that, you just say that something did happen and everybody got a gun out, and people, you know, you know, sometimes people can get gun happy and start shooting, and just for safety, you know, warning shots and everything else, and then all of a sudden you got a chaos in the school as it is. But at the same time, I think we need more reform than anything else, and more gun laws and put in place to get rid of all the machine guns and the big guns and things of that magnitude that people can easily get. Reform is the way we should be going, but unfortunately we don't have that right now. So they're doing everything they can to try to make the school safe and make the teacher feel safe. The teachers and police is very important to the community. We trust the teachers, we trust the police more than anybody with our children. But you know, leaving our children at school now, we don't know if we're gonna see them when we get back.
We have seen Uvalde, Robb Elementary, you know, some tragedies here where there were tremendous fails by law enforcement officers. Should we be focused on getting them prepared more so than teachers? When we look at some of the things that we saw here in Texas, and the FBI, feds came in and said, this is incredible that trained law enforcement officers allowed this to happen, and they could have saved many more lives. Should we be focused more on law enforcement officers than educators?
Sure, most definite. That's a perfect example. You know, if they had a brief a little faster, maybe we'd save some children's lives. But they held back for a long time before they decided they would go inside. And so, you know, personally, you know, there's no time to waste. It should be a zero tolerance kind of attitude towards the police. One thing about it, we put our life on the line anyway. You know, that's what we signed up for, to protect and serve. So therefore, you know, even when I was in the military, same thing. You know, we put our life on the line, so we know we possibly may die. You know, we high risk. You know, we have to be able to sacrifice ourselves for somebody else, because that's what we've sworn to do.
Do you think some may have forgotten that?
A lot of people
and see it
probably
as a
have.
job.
A lot of fear in police right now, and they shouldn't have the fear because that's what they signed up for. So you got to be courageous, you got to be strong, and you got to be willing to risk yourself to save others. And that's what police do every day. Those that really care.
Arnetta, we wanted to go ahead.
No, and you're right. You said the key word. That's what you signed up for, to make sure to protect and have guns. I didn't sign up for that. I signed up. I got my master's degree in education to educate and to teach. I didn't want to be SWAT. I didn't want to be a police officer. So don't put that on me as a teacher.
What do you think parents would say from your perspective, being an educator?
Yes, sir.
Do they want you pistol packing in the classroom?
Not at all. I mean, number one, they don't even want. I say this all the time. They don't want to give me your number. So you darn sure don't want me to, have a gun with your child. So no, I just believe that we as teachers have enough on our plate. Let's not put life and death as an element.
All right, Constable Arnetta Murray, thank you both for joining us here tonight.